Well, folks, we have a special guest today, a fella I've been following for over a year now, content creator Maverick Bailey, joining us in the house from the sunny West Coast. He does deep dives on political mysteries and everything in between. Maverick, how are you doing today?
Good. How's it going, man? I see you already having fun with, is that flower on you already?
Just a little extracurriculars with today, with the grim state of the world. Sometimes we got to find ways to have that outlet.
Right.
So I have a question for you, not to get too heavy at the gate. Am I racist for not liking the movie Sinners?
No, you have an opinion, and that's what your opinion states, and it's fine. That. My thing is this: I think that movie was great. It wasn't, a 10 out of 10, like what people were saying, but it was a great movie. It was well shot. Yeah. But everybody's not supposed to like the same thing, and that's kind of where we're at right now in society. Like, everybody has to be on one accord when it comes to like movies, music. We all have to like the same thing. It's right. Like, well, no, back in the day, everybody had their own opinion. Now it's like we have to have one mind, one opinion, and it's outrageous. I don't get it.
Do you think that the word, getting called a racist, I feel like 10, 20 years ago, I feel like it had a lot more weight to it than it does now? I'm just curious what your thoughts on that statement from a white guy is.
Yeah, they don't make them how they used to, right? The good old racist. They don't make them like that anymore.
I just mean at the end of the day, when you call everything racist, I've even read an article about how peanut butter and jelly sandwiches were racist. And it's just at what point, I know, I don't understand that one either, but I swear to God it exists. People at home, go ahead and Google it. So my whole thing is, there's obviously real racism in the world. No one here at the Weekly Rot would deny that. But at the end of the day, what is it? The girl that cried wolf sort of situation. I mean, What do you think? What's it like? So let me ask you a two-part question here, Maverick. What do you think about the culture war that's brewing in America? Is it manufactured? And is it as bad as the media, as the CNNs of the world and the Fox Newses of the world make it out to be? Do you feel safe when you go outside in your neighborhood?
I do. And that's the thing. I think that what's happening right now with the whole race war and all this other stuff that they're trying to brew up, I think all that's being manufactured because one way to get rid of racism is to not talk about it. Okay? The more energy we give it, the more it festers and it becomes something. Not saying don't, historically go back into the historical data, what happened, okay, cool. But moving forward, we can't talk about the same thing our grandfather and great grandfather did. That makes no sense. But I think now I think now they're manufacturing this whole thing with Carmelo Anthony and the Shiloh Hendricks and the Shannon Sharps. Like, all this stuff is like, it gives me CIA vibes.
Oh, big time. You see those GoFundMes jacking up all that money for that random trailer park woman in the park, and then of course the terrible stabbing situation between Austin and Carmelo. It seems like it's rage baiting, it seems like to me.
Rage baiting, exactly. And I feel like that I see a lot of that on X. There's accounts that's not even real accounts. What's happening right now on X, I think it's a social engineering project. Even on Instagram, I'm pretty sure you get it too. There's accounts that fall into this category of like rage baiting, race baiting type of scenarios, and I feel like these accounts aren't real people. So I see that all the time on X and everything else. So I think that it goes into the dead internet theory. Half the internet is actually not real.
Bots.
Right? We have a lot of bots, and even Meta, not too long ago, they released something called AI buddies or AI clones, where they're like fake accounts and they're clones of real people, but they're accounts where they can comment and engage. So I think they've had that for a long time. So I think it goes into the dead internet theory to where half of it is just not real and they're trying to bait us.
And then the other half is feds and Mossad. You look at what happened with 4chan. after the big hack and ultimately the entire website being shut down, at least for now, as far as my understanding. I mean, it looks like all these Fed bots got they're finding new homes on new platforms. It would seem. At the end of the day, I think I'm just going to close this off by just saying, hey, black, white, gay, straight, man, woman, I think we're all getting shafted by the same government, and I think they don't want us to ever, stop fighting with each other for a moment to open our eyes up and realize, hey, shit's not really fair right now. I think I'm paying too much for groceries or something.
Right. And that's the thing. We have to look up the ladder.
Yep.
So this is why I always wear the shirt, because people are like, oh, you believe in NASA and everything else? It opens up the conversation of like, oh, so you think NASA's real? Okay, let me explain why X, Y, and Z, it's not real, because the pictures that they show you are all generated and they're pieces of, collection of photos, and go down the whole rabbit hole of what NASA means. Even NASA in Hebrew, Nassau means to deceive. Okay, so I always wear this shirt to where I wear it on podcasts and everything else to just open up that conversation, because I think we all can kind of agree that we have all been shafted for a long time by the government and the powers that be.
Yo, and that's why I was super pumped to have you on, frankly, man, because you address these things. You don't shy away from the tough conversations. And I know, that can make for uncomfortable scenarios, but these conversations need to happen now more than ever. And just on the NASA thing, it's I always found it fascinating that the Antarctic Treaty was signed the same year that NASA was formed, and there's some other things there. The 33rd, what's the road called between the launch pads? The 33rd highway or something like that. A lot of Masonic imagery there, my friend.
There you go.
Moving into that, it's a beautiful segue. One of the very first videos I ever saw of you, you were talking about the Mountain Dew conspiracy, and I just want to let the people at home get a chance to hear it from your mouth. What is the Mountain Dew conspiracy? And just, take the mic, run with it, brother.
Well, a lot of people don't realize when it comes to esoteric, things and logos, colors, things we see every day, right? Now, to the naked eye, it just seems like, oh, it's just a logo or it's just this or that. But they utilize these things because we see them every day and our subconscious picks them up. So with Mountain Dew, there's a lot of correlations with certain flavors and major events. Okay. So 2001, they had a flavor come out called Code Red.
I remember that.
A few months later. Yeah, remember that? So what happened a couple of months later? 9/11.
Yes,
That's
sir.
a Code Red.
Yes, sir.
Then we have Maui Burst. Maui Burst comes out right before, guess what? The Maui fires. Surprise.
You're shitting me.
Okay.
Terrible. Yeah.
We keep going. So Pitch Black, they released that last year, at the beginning of last year, and I told everybody to watch for it. Then what happens? The biggest IT crash in human history with CrowdStrike.
Yeah.
That happened.
You even have blackouts in Spain too. There's even the blackouts in Spain now too. Like that
blackout in Spain. Oh, okay. So the blackout in Spain and Portugal and Belgium, France, that just happened. Yeah. I did a video right before that on a flavor called, get this, wait for it, Baja Midnight. Okay.
2 seconds.
And then last year, you remember we had all those crazy tornadoes and hurricanes and everything else. So right before that, we have Infinite Swirl flavor.
I love it. That's, there's something to it, right? Because they always say predictive programming, if you prescribe to certain theories, there's this belief that they have to tell us what they're about to do to us. Right. The swirl flavor, really, each one of those has way more poignancy than I wanted it to, Maverick, if I'm being honest. Because, you can't even have fun anymore with a little fun conspiracy anymore, because everything keeps coming true. It's a tricky world to fucking find the fine line in. Is there anything else to tie off the Mountain Dew conspiracy? What's the next flavor do you think they got coming out?
There's a lot of them. And here's the thing I tell people to watch for. Whenever they make a big push on a certain flavor, right? Because every flavor doesn't correlate with every event. They have Star Spangled Splash they released last year.
gosh.
And then Francis Scott Key Bridge collapsed, right? Now, who wrote the Star Spangled Banner? Francis Scott Key, right? So I always look for the big push. So they have like a big media push when you see a lot of commercials. And what's crazy is too, on that video that did like 5 million, I was talking about the Mountain Dew conspiracy, Mountain Dew themselves commented on that video and said, hey, keep your voice down.
No, they fucking didn't. Bro, okay,
Yeah,
we'll get it. We'll throw that up. I'm going to make sure my producer, Tommy, you got extra homework. Okay, brilliant.
So I just say just look for the next flavors and then kind of make the correlation from there.
So we should be on the lookout for the Mountain Dew nuclear holocaust flavor. Maybe if that one comes out, maybe we should all take notice.
Coming to a store near you.
Yeah, that's right. On that note, I mean, we're 2 for 2 for segues. Let's move into it. You have India bombing Pakistan, Israel bombing Yemen, and Ukraine bombing Moscow, all in the last couple days. Thoughts?
To say the least.
Yeah. So what do you think? What do you think? Where is this all heading? Is this all a microcosm of the same massive conflict, or would just let me know your thoughts on it, Maverick?
Well, everything hinges on kind of what's happening in America, right? So when you're thinking about the tariffs, thinking about the trade war, you're thinking about all these different things. Any kind of economic unrest, you're going to get some type of backlash or some type of reaction, like i.e. war. So when it comes to all these different things, there's a struggle. There's a jockeying for position when it comes to supplies, when it comes to the monetary system, everything, right? So I think this is a natural reaction of what's happening with the tariffs, what Trump is doing. And I always say this, it's a short-term pain, but a long-term gain, okay, when we're talking about the tariffs, because in the system that we're in right now, it's a scam system. The tax system's a scam. Taxes were never legal in the original Constitution. None of this was part of the game plan. So he's trying to take it back to the glory days to where, hey, we're running off of tariffs, we're generating revenue, and people are investing into America. Now, when it comes to...
I can't wait for World War I to end so that the income tax can go away, eh? Wasn't it supposed to go away after that? That was my understanding.
Yeah, it was temporary, right? So, but I think that this is kind of a necessary evil, unfortunately. But I think that we're just seeing kind of like the reactions of this. So, are we going to World War III? Are we already in there? Are we already in a silent war? I think so.
You know, I think it's pretty hard to deny the fact that there is war occurring on a scale which the world hasn't seen in a long time. And I just want to add to that, Maverick. Sebastian Junger said this, and I saw it today and I just felt like it's a perfect quote to read. So I'm just going to read it. Each javelin round costs $80,000. And the idea that it is fired by a guy who doesn't make that in a year at a guy who won't make that in his lifetime is outrageous.
Yeah.
And that's where we're at. And you know, where you know, at the end of the day, like, you know, it's like Pakistan bombing India, India bombing Pakistan. Who do you think sold both of them the weapons, fam?
There you go, right? Look up the ladder,
yes,
like I always say.
Yes, sir.
So you gotta have to look at, you know, who benefits. Always look at the source. Who benefits from all this? Who's playing both sides, like you said? So how are they getting these weapons? That's another question.
Is there anything else you got coming down the pipeline you want people to be aware of? Any story you got that's percolating at the tip of your tongue right now?
Oh man, there's no shortage of stories nowadays,
facts.
right?
Yeah,
so,
that's facts.
I would look out for something to happen this coming weeks, because what's happening right now with the Diddy case.
Yes.
I find it very interesting because it could be linked to Epstein, and it could be, I always say this, Diddy's list is Epstein's list. So, and I've been saying that for a while.
I like that.
So a lot of people are starting to go down. Yeah. So if you remember, as soon as Diddy got indicted and went to jail, right?
Yeah.
What happened? We had the New York mayor get indicted.
That's right.
We had Mike Jeffries,
Oh, that's
the
right.
former CEO.
There were like 4
Yes.
studio heads all stepped down like right after.
They stepped her down.
Yeah,
All
yeah.
these people were like
That's right.
getting out of Dodge. We had Ellen move.
Ellen's
She
gone.
moved to
Rosie
UK.
O'Donnell's gone. Ashton Kutcher's gone. Fucking, we're still
Right.
waiting for Bono to drive off a cliff since Trump won the election. But, well, maybe we'll get around to that. But you're right. There was a
Right.
whirlwind of activity. I forgot it. See, it's funny, eh? It even affects me, Maverick. Like that 2-week news cycle is a very real fucking thing. You got about 2 weeks of shelf life, and then you just forget. There's so much information we're being bombarded with. It's like the brain just pushes that shit out. I don't know. Tricky.
Yeah.
That's
So
a tricky
I
one.
think it's future shock, right? It's information overload.
That's
so
right.
they want us to forget certain things.
Right.
So I think we're going to see some interesting things. I've been waiting to see kind of like what other names are going to come out and whatnot. Some weird names are coming about. They mentioned Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah.
They mentioned Mike Myers.
Mike Myers, yes.
So I'm like, I could kind of see Mike Myers. Michael B. Jordan, like he just got on the scene.
I know,
so like
man.
I'm not sure
It
where he
can't
falls
be.
in.
I don't want to believe it because I fucked with Michael B. Jordan since The Wire. On God, where's Wallace at?
Yeah.
So like, I don't want to hear about that. But it is going to be a weird.
Yeah.
I will say this. I noticed this with the Epstein dump about a year ago from the Virginia Joffrey case. By the way, R.I.P. to a hero, a national hero, someone who should be remembered. I know she won't be, but she's gone. Anyways, her case against Ghislaine Maxwell brought forward, and I noticed the media was running with names like Leonardo DiCaprio. You remember that name kept getting brought up a year and a half ago? He wasn't involved. They just mentioned Leonardo DiCaprio in one of the court documents as just an offhand remark. Like it wasn't even, I read the documents myself, right? So like I find the media, so what do we do, Maverick? And this will be the final question I have for you today, my friend. What do we do when the distractions, when the real stories are being used now as distractions? So they're using the Epstein case, I find, as a distraction now. They feed us stuff to make us look one way while they keep all the actual files. Like, I mean, obviously, Pam Bondi came out saying there's no timeline for those Epstein files to be released. So how do we maneuver now that it seems to me like they are using these things, which are very serious issues, but they have used them and hijacked them into manufactured distractions? How do we cut through that, my friend?
I mean, this is why we do what we do, right?
Yes.
We put the pieces together. Like with you and a few others like myself, I think that we kind of have to keep people on track and connect the dots and make sure we deliver the news correctly so people don't forget, like, oh yeah, that happened and this happened. Right. So I think when it comes to distractions, we can cut through them collectively, right? Sir. So like when they had that Blue Origin thing with Katy Perry and all that shit was a distraction. That was fake. They didn't have helmets. They went through this whole thing. They didn't have a clear shot of them going up, and it was all it was false, right? Yeah. And they're opening up the door hatch.
The door hatch
decompression.
Yes.
So that was a distraction from what? Maybe the Epstein list or a multitude of things, because we still don't have the list.
Nope. Still waiting. Okay? Still waiting. And they did this whole press release where they sent up these influencers to the White House with these dockets. DC Drano, yeah, don't worry. I comment on every one of his posts now. I say, hey, cool, where's the list though, man?
Where's the list? So,
that's it.
I think they're just trying to kick the can down the road, but we got to keep them on track, and we'll do that all collectively.
Kicking the can down the road, that sounds like the political slogan for every party that's ran in the past 20 years, my friend. I think you just nailed it. Maverick Bailey. People, you can find Maverick on Instagram. Is there anything else you want to plug before we let you go today, sir?
That's it. Yeah, just follow me on Maverick Approach. That's on Instagram. That's my handle on most platforms, YouTube, TikTok, and everything else. Beautiful. So just type in X. Just hit me up on there. Go to maverickapproach.com. I have some events coming up, so just follow me, and I'll keep you guys tapped in.
Follow my man Maverick. Thank you for giving us the time of day today, my friend. You stay safe and keep up the good fight.
Sir. Yes, sir. Appreciate it.